Okay, today we're going to talk about negotiation technique or negotiating for life. To get anywhere in life, you need to be negotiating with people. This can be from when you start in the schoolyard, in a home environment, university, and later in a career. All of this involves negotiation, and if other sides know how to use it and you don't, it's a question of being left behind. So work on the basics of learning, but don't forget that what you know gets you into the door. Who you know and how you deal with them gets you the job. So the following hints are designed to help you. Negotiation is about two sides of debating. Discuss the issue and reach a point of agreement. So, three areas where negotiations take place. Verbally, between two or more people or groups of people, from a couple at home, you, the boss, a customer, or secondly, written as between two or more groups, and this could be when you're negotiating at a distance, or electronically, but the basic principles still apply. So let's start with the verbal. 5 phases of negotiation need to be followed. There's the preparation, the debate, proposing, bargaining, and then the close. And don't forget that with the close, lots of people, and you've seen it in shops before, the salesman keeps talking and talking and talking, but he can't bring about the point where he says, okay, you're going to buy or not. So let's look at how to prepare, step 1. So in preparation, it's a question of what do you want? What do you think they want? What is their history? And what's happened between the two parties in the past? All of this is important to know what you want. If you don't know what you want to start with in a negotiation, it's not going to give you anything worthwhile. There's a checklist you could use for preparation. What you want as an outcome. What are the negotiable issues? And there you rank the issues in order of importance, high, medium, low. List throwaways. These are the things that you will negotiate about, but you're happy to give them as concessions so that the other side thinks that they're getting something out of you. List supplementary offers. In other words, things that you might be able to agree on and get if the main thing doesn't work. Redefine your bottom line. Again, what is the lowest level that you can accept, and have that from the start, even though you don't tell the other side. Set the meeting point, and then set an agenda for that meeting. Phase 2, how to debate. Hate isn't into this, it's a debate. So negotiation is like a debate. In a debate, one side puts its case, and then the other side responds. Once both sides have put their points, these can be called on for clarification, agreement, or disagreement. Try summarizing at the conclusion, and always aim to come away with something. So, various forms of negotiation. There's a famous book from Harvard, the concept of called Getting to Yes by Roger Fisher, where he says, don't bargain over positions, separate people from the problem, focus on interests, not positions, invent options for mutual gain, use objective criteria and other considerations. He says, using emotions as you negotiate, that's beyond reason. But then there's another book he put out of Getting Past No. And here they use, he and his co-authors, the BATNA, B-A-T-N-A, or Best Alternative to a Negotiated Agreement. Having said that about the book Getting to Yes, I'd add to that this is all very well, but the main tenor of that book was keep negotiating and keep badgering the other side until they give in. Anyone who's negotiated in Asia would know that Asians are too polite often to say no, so they'll say yes, not meaning it. So you haven't really achieved anything. So, types of outcome: win-win, win-lose, lose-win, or lose-lose. And obviously what we try and aim for mostly is where both sides can win, and certainly not the bottom end of outcome where both sides lose. So the Harvard concept of getting to yes was touted as a scheme used at Camp David between Yasser Arafat and the Israelis. So yes, that was a great thing that they can say that their system was used, but that didn't work out too well. And we get back to the old adage of a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. The core concept in every negotiation is that every individual has their own agenda. It's not always like that everyone has the same agenda, so it's about getting the different agendas in the same direction, individually for personal goals and collectively for group or company issues. For example, someone coming for a job in McDonald's is unlikely to really say their life's ambition, agenda, is to sell fries. They may be using this to make money to study, or as my nephew did, as stage one to where he is now an apprentice chef in a leading London restaurant, the Fat Duck. You identify their agenda and make it work for both of you. As an example, a consultant is coming to work for you. What is their personal agenda? Are they grateful to be given the work and will work well? Are they using this as a stepping stone to another post? Are they using this in order to go to another company? Are they getting experience so they can set up in competition? Do they want to do the minimum amount of work, or is this just a stepping stone? Authors of how-to books try and say you can separate the people from the problem, but is that really true? So decide what you want to achieve. Do not go into a negotiation before you know exactly what you want to achieve. Don't ever pick up a phone until you know what you aim to achieve. Plan A is the ideal achievement. Plan B is a fallback position if it doesn't look like you're going to get your ideal achievement. And then Plan C is the retreat position. And Plan D is minimum acceptability or maximum acceptability. But in the retreat position, it's the old adage of live to fight another day. If you're on the phone, keep this list in front of you. Have the checklist there so you don't get sidetracked. talk around the list if you have to, but keep on the list. Get a positive response from a multi-stage list. If you have to pass a point before resolution, go back to it later. Again, stick to the list. And if someone is summarizing at the end of the meeting, check that the summary is consistent with what you've noted as agreed. Otherwise, go back to the list. And this was a really famous example that I had early on with a Mr. Len. We used to have these lengthy negotiations which would go for days, and then he would sum up at the final meeting an agreement having been reached on what he set out and had aimed for originally, not on what had finally been agreed, but since this was then minuted and everyone was too shocked to respond, he usually got what he wanted. And when you go for something, be positive. For example, the golfers squaring up with a 7-iron to shoot over a water hazard. And it's been proven by the experts that if someone tells themselves, I'm likely to hit this into the water, 7 out of 10 times they will. If they tell themselves, I will hit the ball over the water, 9 out of 10 times they will. So set the goals and what you want to achieve. So we're ready for the negotiation. So set the stage. There are some things which can be negotiated your way. So set date and time. This to your convenience and, sadly to say, to their inconvenience. Get to choose the location. Check out the location. Check out buildings before for associated offices. And make sure that there's not a jackhammer working outside unless this is to your advantage. Arrange the seating. And how many times have you sat in an office where you're the one looking into the bright light outside? Organize distractions for the other side if necessary, but keep them subtle. If warranted, have people coming in and out during the meeting to talk to you. If socializing, this can help to set the tone, but can be dangerous because it can go the wrong way. Ensure no interruptions unless they're your interruptions, such as with prearranged phone calls. And establish cut-off time limits. A good one is that you have a plane to catch. But remember, research, 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 preparation. Other considerations for the meeting would be the number of people attending the meetings. If there are too many, this can get out of hand. The consideration of the other's jet lag. Adjusting the heating in the meeting room. Staging the breaks in the proceedings and interjections. And remember the cultural differences, such as food choices and things like Ramadan, which gets really ridiculous if you're sitting at a meeting and you're having lunch and the other side says they can't eat. Again, research, research, research. In other words, do your due diligence. There's nothing more important than identifying the other side's position before you even commence a negotiation. Remember, you need to know what the organisation you're dealing with's agenda is and what they want. And remember, more importantly, that the organisation that you're dealing with and the individuals negotiating may have different agendas, because